As we were talking about, it took the Democrats 31 hours to give a coronation to Kamala Harris. She's made a couple of stops along the way, but today she went to a sorority event and did not go to Congress to see Benjamin Netanyahu. Odd decision, I would say. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump and his vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance, are on the road all over America. Today, Trump's set to hold a rally in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been watching the video on social media, man. It is packed again. It's wild. Our national campaign correspondent, Brian Glenn, standing by in Charlotte to bring us the latest. Brian, nice to see you today.
Yeah, good to see you, Steve. It's another day on the campaign trail with President Trump. And as you saw the video earlier on social media, thousands have turned up today to see the former president and his new vice president running mate, J.D. Vance, as they are going to fill up this arena of about 8,600 is technically what it sits, but they're going to put a couple thousand, I would imagine, on the floor alone. So we can have a big day here in North Carolina. As Steve, this is the first rally since the Democrats have essentially put the crown on Kamala Harris being as their candidate from their party. So it's going to be interesting to see if the messaging from President Trump is very similar to the approach that he had with President Biden, or does he shift a little bit and talk about the weakness of Kamala Harris? We'll find out here in a few.
Well, I know you've talked to him here in the last few weeks, as I have as well, Donald Trump, that is. We've also spoken to people like Michael Watley and others, and they knew that this was possible, and they seem to be focused on the policies, which they should be. Look, Kamala Harris, they might try to say she wasn't the border czar, trying to distance themselves as quick as possible from that, but she was. The border's a failure. The people in North Carolina know that groceries are expensive and gas is expensive, so it's about policies. It really is. And honestly, it was the Biden-Harris administration. I don't know how you get past that.
Yeah, I don't know how you get past that as well. And I thought it was really interesting today. I spoke to probably 30, 40 people in a matter of an hour, just kind of getting what's concerning to them. And yes, border was always a common theme, but right now people are really feeling the effects of the economy. And one lady even said, hey, I can't afford to take that family vacation that we used to take every year because we just don't have that extra money in our budget for that. And I can only imagine how many, millions of Americans probably feel the same way. The border might not have affected them as much as they think, but the economy affects everybody. And we've heard, Don Jr. often say, hey, if I'm the son of a billionaire and I see the effects at the pump, then I know the average American does as well. So you're right. It doesn't matter what name is on that ticket. It's the policies that are having the biggest impact on Americans.
No question. And look, the Democrats magically came up with about $250 million right out of the gates for Kamala Harris. So they're going to have a pile of money to work with. We don't know who her running mate's going to be. But the insiders there at the Trump campaign on social media saying it's going to be Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania. We'll see. They know that Pennsylvania is key to victory for the Democrats. They've been trailing there by 4 or 5 points. Brand new polling from CNN, Brian. This should make the Trump campaign feel pretty good. 3 days into Kamala Harris's tenure as the candidate. Donald Trump leading by 3 points nationally, still leading in all the swing states, including Pennsylvania, if she picks Josh Shapiro, the governor. Any idea that the Trump campaign or the Vance people have any concern about who she picks as a running mate?
I don't think they do, to be honest with you. I think at the end of the day, they're going to keep hammering home what she's failed to do and keep hammering home the policies of the Trump campaign. I mean, what a firebrand. I mean, I'm trying to think, playing fantasy politics here, who that perfect vice president candidate would be. When people say Gavin Newsom, I go, okay, let's talk about California. When they say Gretchen Whitmer, okay, let's talk about Michigan. So I don't know who you put in there. It would appear, though, that Josh Shapiro might be, I would probably say, one of the strongest picks that they could actually slide into that position. But at the end of the day, man, people are so focused on what has happened to this country the last 4 years. I don't think they care who that vice president running mate is.
Well,
but maybe I'm wrong, but we'll find out.
I here, Brian. I don't think you're necessarily wrong, but I want to point something out about Josh Shapiro. He's a Jewish governor. I think that's just fine, but you look at 35 Democrats skipped Benjamin Netanyahu's speech today, including Kamala Harris. They totally snubbed the Prime Minister of Israel as he addressed Congress today. 35 Democrats. I think that puts Shapiro in a tough spot. Of course, you've got the Muslim vote, the Arab vote in Michigan and New Jersey and elsewhere. I don't know if they have an easy pick. I'll give you the last word here.
I agree. I think that is a bad move for Democrats to skip that speech. They need to be there, even if they disagree. They need to show the respect that and show up for that speech. So that could hurt Josh Shapiro for not coming out and at least showing support in other fellow Democrats. So yeah, at the end of the day, look, buckle up. It's going to be a really bumpy ride for the DNC the next 30 days or so before the convention, because who knows what could happen.
Who knows? Brian Glenn out there on the road, burning up the miles and keeping us informed. Brian, as always, appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much. He's in Charlotte, North Carolina.